Coming into a new semester at the Mount, people expect good grades, new friends, and fun. However, this year at the Mount proved to be different with the school's new policy change. Visitation. Students now can only sign one person in to sleep over 8 times a semester, and the consequences for violating this new policy are more than a warning and a suspension, but the awful chance of being prohibited from school grounds not just for a semester but for a whole year. This has caused much uproar among students, most who are seniors. And here is what they have to say. Can you please say your name for me?
Armando Catali.
And can you tell me your stance on the visitation policy?
Visitation policy sucks big balls.
And why?
Because as an adult, as a 21-year-old, I don't think it's fair that I can only have someone sleep over through a 24-hour, what is it called?
Notice?
Yeah, 24-hour notice, have my roommate sign it, and then they can only stay 8 times a month. That's why.
8 times a month?
8 times a month.
You mean 8 times a semester?
8 times a semester. Sorry about that.
And what policy do you think they should have?
I think there should be an open policy for anyone above the age of, actually, probably sophomores and up.
Tell me what you think about the visitation policy here at the College of Mount St. Vincent.
I think one?
Yeah.
Okay. It sucks. It's horrible. It completely takes away our privileges, and I don't see how it fully helped. I mean, I understand the protecting us wise, but it doesn't seem to be a full need for all the paperwork that needs to be done before it, and a certain amount. There shouldn't be a certain amount that we have someone stay over.
And can you please tell me what you think about this new visitation policy?
I am very much against the new visitation policy.
Why is that?
I think especially as upperclassmen, it kind of punishes us for nothing that we've done wrong. We have less visitation than we did our sophomore year here, and I think it's a little ridiculous that we can't have our friends, even commuters, stay over past 12:30.
Although most that were
And
interviewed have similar reactions,
on the
there are some who think otherwise.
Well, being a member of the Executive Council of Student Government, I hear a lot of concerns about the visitation policy. I know that a lot of students were upset because it's changed from the years past, but I think what the students need to do is take time and realize what they're doing will be a good thing for the campus community. It will keep outside guests out and will protect us, and that's the administration's overall goal for this.
And then there are others who are unsure or confused about the visitation policy.
Well, I don't think the visitation policy is very fair. For a senior who's spent the last 3 years having to abide by old rules, it's very unfair that we have to come and basically have even more rules than we did freshman year. And I think a lot of the rules are even sort of unclear to us still. I mean, there's little floor meetings and stuff like that, but for the most part, a lot of us really don't know exactly the rules still. And I don't think that we should have been expected to know everything right away and the punishments be so drastic when this was just first implemented. Because the conditions afterwards, like after you get caught, like maybe violating a visitation policy, are very extreme. They extend even from one semester to the next semester, and I think that's totally unfair. And I don't think that a new handbook should be revised or written when seniors have been following for the past 3 years the rules that were in the old handbook. I don't think we should be responsible for relearning new rules that aren't even exactly correctly worked out by the people who implemented them.
And do you know the reason why you think they changed the visitation policy?
I actually have no idea. I mean, there's a lot of theories, and I think that's one of the biggest problems here is students are kind of confused as to why these things are all changing, and nobody's really happy with it. I mean, if somehow there's always going to be conflict in any kind of change, but I think when the majority of students are unhappy, there should at least be some kind of explanation, but there is no explanation, and I feel like nothing's really being achieved.
And what do you think is like an ideal visitation policy that would make everyone happy?
Well, I mean, I understand that safety is important, and a lot of students, their arguments may be a little out there because they just basically want everything to be very lenient. But I think the best policy is one that is safe, but still grants some kind of freedom to the students, because as of now, we have none. And I think that with all these rules that they have, trying to make everything safer, all they've done is just take away all our rights and made everybody basically unhappy. And I feel like we're all paying a ton of tuition to live here, and yet what are we getting out of it? We're getting basically nothing. Everything was just ripped away from us.
So now I ask everyone, is the new visitation policy a hit or a miss?